It's still going
For the course.
live. See, this isn't.
All going there. Go on the platform.
This.
Let me have my Gmail. My Gmail. I want to download the courses for today.
So you want to change it to your.
Yeah, add my account. Add a new account. Okay, good. Ready? I would like you to start with a reading. Okay. Okay. We are going to start with the reading. Last time, for those who were here, we started doing the reading comprehension. So Kylie is going to teach us the reading comprehension. We have newcomers, so you can see.
Yeah.
Continue introducing yourself.
If they have the mic or something.
The mic.
Don't
Speak from
very
shop.
well.
Pauvre est enfin Abidjan. Comprends tout ce que tu veux et on te livre en quelques minutes.
Ready?
He's gonna turn it on. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So last week we talked about inventions and we talked about the electric telegraph. So this week we're going to talk about ideas, which are still going to be inventions, but you know how they created, you know, what inspired them to come up with these inventions. So I'll be reading the cat's eyes portion today. A simple idea can sometimes make millions of dollars for the inventor if enough copies of the inventions are sold. In 1933, an English road builder called Percy Shaw was driving home. At one point on the road, there was a bend with a steep drop on the right. The night was foggy, and Shaw followed the road with difficulty. Suddenly, the lights of his cars caught a cat sitting on a fence. The light shone back to him clearly from the animal's eyes and possibly saved his life. Shaw realized that the glass eyes down the center of the road could help to guide drivers. He started work and put together glass balls and mirrors inside a rubber case. Each time a car drove over them, the eyes sank into the road and were cleaned by a piece of rubber. The government didn't show much interest in Shaw's idea until his cat's eyes became useful during the war years because the street lamps were switched off at night and cars had to use very weak lights. Enemy airplanes couldn't see the light from cat eyes. After the war, the government started a program to put cat's eyes on all Britain's roads. Shaw became rich, but continued to live in the same house. In most ways, his life didn't change. So the Postit Notes and the Velcro are also portions you can go home and read. So I read the cat's eyes. So these ones you can go home, read, and follow the questions that are with it. So can anyone tell me what the reading is about?
Okay. Can we already do once more? Yeah. Oh, it's okay? It's okay. Once more.
Once more, okay.
Slower, please.
Slower, okay.
Let's repeat.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, respire, take your time.
Okay.
It's too quick.
Cat's eyes. A simple idea can sometimes make millions of dollars for the inventor if enough copies of the invention are sold. In 1933, an English road builder called Percy Shaw was driving home. At one point on the road, there was a bend with a steep drop on the right. The night was foggy, and Shaw followed the road with difficulty. Suddenly, the lights of his car caught a cat sitting on a fence. The light shone back to him clearly from the animal's eyes and possibly saved his life. Shaw realized that glass eyes down the center of roads could help to guide drivers. He started work and put together glass balls and mirrors inside a rubber case. Each time a car drove over them, the eyes sank into the road and were cleaned by a piece of rubber. The government didn't show much interest in Shaw's idea until his cat's eyes became useful during the war years because street lamps were switched off at night and cars had to use very weak lights. Enemy airplanes couldn't see the light from cat's eyes. After the war, the government started a program to put cat's eyes on all Britain's roads. Shaw became rich, but continued to live in the same house. In most ways, his life didn't change.
Okay. Good. So I think now it's okay. Okay, good. So let's go on the questions. Did anyone receive the copy of the test? Okay. Apart from those who are coming now, you still have more tests there. Let's copy this. Then you have them. Someone else there in the back? Okay. How about Modal? Get some? No? Everything okay. Okay.
All right.
Yes, you can continue with the questions.
So, can anyone tell me what the reading is about?
The test is about an invention which help people to drive during the night.
Very good. So that answers like all the questions. So the invention was cat's eyes, and it helped the people at night see, you know, if it's too dark, the reflection could help them guide on the road. All right. Let's see here.
Yes.
There's these mountains. So it's right next to this one.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
The type of questions.
So does anyone have any questions about the text? Anything they didn't understand or have questions about?
Yes, Modal.
What's the meaning of it?
Steep. So very steep. So a sharp angle. So when you're driving on the road and it's like a how do you describe that?
Yeah.
Where you go very fast downhill, downwards hill. That's very steep. Steep is that sharp
Yeah.
decline.
You understand decline?
Okay.
Okay. So you're using the movement to show you how it is. Like a car going down, and when you see the level of the car and the road down, it's like the car is declining. Okay? So this is where they talk of steep, you see. If you talk of the declining aspect of the car, look at the movement of the car going down. Are you there? You understand it? Okay. One more question? Okay, Modal, in the front.
Okay, I don't understand
Yes.
how the idea of cat eyes is used by him and put on a car.
Can we look up an image?
More explain for me,
Like
please.
the cat's eyes? I feel like that will help.
Yeah. Huh?
If I look up an image.
Okay.
Yeah.
She want to use image. Try to explain.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
Okay.
you. Better.
For you to get it clearly. Okay. The time she's looking for the image to explain what she's asking, if you have another question, you can raise your hand and ask it on the subject. Is there anyone who ask another question on the subject? The topic? You had a copy? Okay. Yes, one person in the back. Have someone in the back there first.
I can understand from the first year that the invention of that driver became famous. So in which way it served the government?
Come again.
I'm saying that the invention of the driver became useful to the government. So in which way it served the government? This cat eye.
Oh yeah. So as the car, as the car has its lights on, because it's dark and you can't see, the lights reflect here back at them, so that the driver can see that, hey, this is where the road is, and then it'll go down and get cleaned and then come back up, so it can keep reflecting the light. So during the war, I believe, the war years, the street lamps were off because it's war zone. Everybody's got a camouflage, so they use these for the equipment, traveling equipment and vehicles to see where they could go.
You
So
understand?
it's why here they said enemies couldn't see the light because they are
Yeah,
up.
because they're up.
Exactly.
And not
It's
in
just
front.
for those who are on the road.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly. The man asked a question there in the back. Come again with your question.
Yeah, I think that she already answered.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Modal. No, the one in yellow.
It's okay now.
It's okay now? Okay. You?
I want to know if the light we can see on Boulevard jusqu'à Versailles by between Trècheville and Marcory, we can see lights by night. Are these
On the road?
yes? Are these cat eyes? I want to know
Oh,
if they are cat eyes.
oh,
Oh yeah.
that one I can't tell because there's something electronic that they are using to, let's say, to enlighten the surface of the road.
I got it.
And here we see that it's hidden, okay? When we talk of cat, when you look at it physically, you yourself, you see that it looks like cat's eyes, okay? But the one on the boulevard is something different. It's, I think it's down, right? It's down, but it's not like this way this one is designed. There is a difference. You see? And I remember, I don't know. Yeah? Yes. To enlighten the road. Okay? To enlighten the road. Because if it is placed down, it's for people who are passing to see that things are moving around, so they should pay attention. As he's saying, they are playing the same functions. Okay?
But those are electronic.
Yeah.
Solar system.
It's used in the solar system.
How
Yeah. It's happened a time I saw some of this on the bridge. The bridge, Fueboyi Bridge, and I don't know, General de Gaulle, the bridge. We have some of this. I don't know if they have removed now. It was there because they are using energy to feed it. If those energy are no more there, then it's off. Okay.
Trying to find a picture.
She's
Ah,
trying to
here it
see
is.
more pictures.
Okay. So it's hard to see, but this is a mailbox with the post in the ground. And this right here is a green light that you probably see from time to time. When a light hits this shows. Yes, it kind of lights back. So like, you can't really see the mailbox, but you can see the numbers because of the type of material.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. More questions? Yes.
I want some people to hear it.
Oh,
You want some?
okay. This one is questions. Make more copies. Okay, if you don't have any more question about the reading, we're gonna start with working. Thanks. Okay. In French? No, not in French. Try to explain. Who want to try to explain French? Which line? Show the line, and someone will try to explain. Seventh line. Seventh line. Someone wants to explain, wants to try to explain. I know how people here almost. Yes, we are not translating. We are trying to explain. Use your own English and try to help her. You want to try to help her? Don't speak French, please. Try to explain in English. You want to try? Okay. She's asking the vocabulary words. If you want to help her, then speak. Okay. Yes, you want to help her? Yeah, come on.
Where we live, when someone build a house, you can use a fence to protect the house in case those robbers will not enter the house. So a fence is surrounding the house and serves as a protection.
Okay. Okay.
And so it's a big hole.
Big what?
Big wall.
Big wall. Okay. In some places, and they are using big walls to protect themselves. To build a house, the house is too small, and the fence is big wall, higher than the house. And those are the things happening here in Africa. Okay?
But I think the fence here, because it's on the road,
Yeah.
must be big.
No,
It's
it's
just
take an example.
Okay.
Okay? It's an example for her to understand what the fence is. On the roads, it cannot be something higher. Okay? Good. So let's get to our grammar courses. This one.
Télécharge l'application. Close.
Yeah.
Modals.
The copy of this one. Only this one. Okay. I forgot that. So let's follow modals for our grammar parts. We listen, we take notes, okay, and we ask questions on modals to make sure we have all understood.
Modals or modal verbs are just one form of auxiliary verbs. There are two important things to remember in using modal verbs. Number one, it doesn't change form. We don't add s to modals even though the subject is singular, and it doesn't have a past form. Example, can is always can, and must is always must. We never say cans or musts. The second one, they can't stand alone in a sentence, so it is always followed by the base form of the main verb. Remember, it is always without to. Example, he can finish his homework before midnight. In this sentence, can is the modal and finish is the main verb. If you notice, we use the base form finish. We don't say can to finish or can finishes. The following are some of the most common modals and their uses. The first one is can and could. Can or could mean an ability to do something. Example, I can swim well, or I could swim well. In these sentences, the speaker's ability is to swim. The second one, making requests. Example, can we go to the park later? Or, could we go to the park later? And the last one, in giving permission. Examples, you can stay late tonight. Or, you could stay late tonight. Next is may and might. May or might could mean a possibility. Example, there may be a typhoon coming. Or, There might be a typhoon coming. The next one is must and should. This means an obligation or necessity. Example, you must go to school, or you should go to school. Will. Will could mean a habit. Example, she will always love him. It could also mean to promise. Example, I will give you the book tomorrow. And it could also mean a prediction. Example, oil price will decrease next year. The last one is would. Would could also mean a habit. Example, there were times when he would share his sandwiches with me. Or a request. Example, would you tell her I called? And the last one, for an invitation. Example, would you like a coffee? Let's go now to our exercise. Choose the correct modal verb according to the usage given. The first one, she blank listened to the instruction carefully. The modal verb needed in this sentence means a necessity. Is it will, can, must, or could? The correct answer is must. She must listen to the instruction carefully. Must is a modal verb which means a necessity. The second one, my grandparents blank dance well. The modal verb needed in this sentence means an ability to do something. Is it would, should, may, or can? The correct answer is can. My grandparents can dance well. Can is a modal verb which means an ability to do something. The next one, I blank come home early. The modal verb needed in this sentence means to promise. Is it must, can, should, or will? The correct answer is will. I will come home early. Will is a modal verb which can mean to promise. The last one, Tim blank join the camp next summer. The modal verb needed in this sentence means a possibility. Is it will, can, might, or must? The correct answer is might. Tim might join the camp next summer. Might is a modal verb which means a possibility. Example, modals or modal verbs are just one form of auxiliary verbs. There are two important things to remember in using modal verbs. Number one, it doesn't change form. We don't add s to modals even though the subject is singular, and it doesn't have a past form. Example, can is always can, and must is always must. We never say cans or musts. The second one, they can't stand alone in a sentence, so it is always followed by the base form of the main verb. Remember, it is always without to. Example, he can finish his homework before midnight. In the sentence, can is the modal and finish is the main verb. If you notice, we use the base form finish. We don't say can to finish or can finishes. The following are some of the most common modals and their uses. The first one is can and could. Can or could mean an ability to do something. Example, I can swim well, or I could swim well. In these sentences, the speaker's ability is to swim. The second one, making requests. Example, can we go to the park later? Or, could we go to the park later? And the last one, in giving permission. Examples: you can stay late tonight, or you could stay late tonight. Next is may and might. May or might could mean a possibility. Example: there may be a typhoon coming, or there might be a typhoon coming. The next one is must and should. This means an obligation or necessity. Example: you must go to school, or you should go to school. Will. Will could mean a habit. Example: she will always love him. It could also mean to promise. Example: I will give you the book tomorrow. And it could also mean a prediction. Example: oil price will decrease next year. The last one is would. Would could also mean a habit. Example: there were times when he would share his sandwiches with me. Or a request. Example: would you tell her I called? And the last one, for an invitation. Example: would you like a coffee? Let's go now to our exercise. Choose the correct modal verb according to the usage given. The first one, she blank listened to the instruction carefully. The modal verb needed in this sentence means a necessity. Is it will, can, must, or could? The correct answer is must. She must listen to the instruction carefully. Must is a modal verb which means a necessity. The second one, my grandparents blank dance well. The modal verb needed in this sentence means an ability to do something. Is it would, should, may, or can? The correct answer is can. My grandparents can dance well. Can is a modal verb which means an ability to do something. The next one, I blank come home early. The modal verb needed in this sentence means to promise. Is it must, can, should, or will? The correct answer is will. I will come home early. Will is a modal verb which can mean to promise. The last one, Tim blank join the camp next summer. The modal verb needed in this sentence means a possibility. Is it will, can, might, or must? The correct answer is might. Tim might join the camp next summer. Might is a modal verb which means a possibility. Modals or modal verbs.
It's okay. It's okay. Very simple. The English is very simple. I think you have understood everything clearly. Or do you have any question for that? No, it's clear. Very clear. Okay. The other information I would like to give you is the use of can, may, would in permission asking or permission giving. Okay. If like you want to go to toilet, for instance, you may have to ask permission to your teacher. If you say, can I go to toilet, sir? The can will be something we use in this situation for a friend. Someone you are, let's say, very friendly to him. You can use can I take your pen, for instance? Okay. So it shows, let's say, the friendly aspect of the relationship between two persons. Can I take your pen? Can I have this? You are very familiar to the person. You can use can. But now, if your teacher and you want to show respect, what would you use? May. Okay, you use may. May I take your pen, sir? Okay, to show respect to a person. Okay?
In a polite way.
In a polite way. Okay. And to make it more formal. To make it more formal. What can we say? Make a sentence. Make a sentence. A full sentence. Yes.
Could I go home, please?
Could I go home? Okay. Okay. This is respectful. Okay. Could I go home? It's respectful. But if you want to make it formal, like you are writing an administrative letter, you could say, I would like. Okay? I would like. And to contract it, you will see that they will write, I'd like. I'd like. The D is not hard. It's a would. Okay? I would like to borrow your pen. Okay? Or I would like to go out. Okay? This is formal way of asking permission. Could is also true. Okay? But it is respectful. And we have another way, who is, let's say, it's at the same time respectful, but also kind. A very kind way of asking things. Who knows? Yes?
Is it true? Should I?
Should I? Not exactly that. It's on the same situation like would. Yes?
Will.
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 Use it in a sentence.
Will you give me your pen? Like,
Will you? No, no. We said can for friendly relationship, may to show respect, could also is possible. I would like for something official, for something formal, okay? But we have another way of asking permission or asking things from someone, especially from women. Yes. Very kind way. Very kind way of saying it. Yes.
question.
It's a question?
No, I would like
I'm
to.
asking the question, so you have to give me the reply now. Okay? Okay, let me help you. Would you mind giving me your pen? Would you mind plus the verb in gerund form? Would you mind giving me your pen? Okay?
Very sweet way.
Yes?
Very sweet.
Very sweet way, yes. That's what I'm saying when asking permission for women. And to be more kind, okay, and polite at the same time. Would you mind giving me your pen? Okay? If your boss is a woman, okay? And that would you mind allowing, ing. Yes, the permission to go on Friday to my village. Okay? Good. Would you mind? Plus verb plus ing. Polite and kind way to ask things. Would you mind? Okay. Mind. M-I-N-D. M-I-N-D.
Would you mind?
Mind.
Not mine.
Yes. M-I-N-D. Would you mind? Would you mind giving me the permission to go out?
Or will you allow me?
Would you allow me? No, mind. When you use mind, this is where you show that.
Mind?
Mind, no. Here is not a verb. Would you mind? It's like please if you want. Would you mind? Would you mind giving me a pen? Would you mind giving me permission? Would you mind? Okay? Good. So, since you have no question for the modal, let us go to the next grammar subject. Present continuous tense, present progressive. We know this already. We don't need to come back on it, okay? Progressive forms. Past continuous. We know about past continuous. We already talked about it last time when I talked about the past simple, the preterite. Where we are in the middle of an action, we need to use the past continuous, okay? Future continuous. This is new, okay? So let's see the future continuous. For the past continuous, you already have the information on your platform, so you go back there.
Future progressive tense. There are 12 verb tenses in the English language. These are the simple present, simple past, simple future, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present progressive, past progressive, future progressive, present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive. This lesson will talk about future progressive. Future progressive tense is also known as future continuous tense. There are two patterns in making a future progressive tense statement. These are through will and be going to forms. The pattern for will is subject plus will plus be plus verb in present participle, while for the be going to is subject plus be going to plus be plus verb in present participle. There are different uses for the future progressive tense. The first one, for actions that will be happening at a certain time in the future. Examples: I will be sleeping at 10 p.m. I am going to be sleeping at 10 p.m. In this sentence, the action I will be sleeping will be happening at 10 p.m. Another example: Claire will be studying by this time tomorrow. Claire is going to be studying by this time tomorrow. The last example: Aunt Lisa will be visiting. Aunt Lisa is going to be visiting. The second one, it is used to refer to actions which will be interrupted by another action in the future. Examples: Mom will be resting when I arrive later. Mom is going to be resting when I arrive later. It will be raining when we leave. It is going to be raining when we leave. Those that are underlined are our actions in future progressive, while the clauses when I arrive later and when we leave are the interruptions. If you notice, we don't use future progressive with these interruptions. This is because they are in time clauses. We don't use future progressive with them. We simply use simple present. And the last one, for actions that will be happening at the same time in the future. Examples: I will be doing my homework while my brother will be practicing piano. Or, I am going to be doing my homework while my brother is going to be practicing piano. Both the actions, I will be doing my homework or I am going to be doing my homework, will be happening at the same time with My brother will be practicing piano, or my brother is going to be practicing piano. That's why both of them are in their present progressive forms. Another example. While we will be eating heartily, Billy will be playing with his food. Or, while we're going to be eating heartily, Billy is going to be playing with his food. While we will be eating heartily, or while we're going to be eating heartily, will happen at the same time with Billy will be playing with his food. That's why both of them are also in their future progressive forms. For the negative sentences, we simply follow the patterns: subject plus will not plus be plus verb in present participle, and subject plus am, is, or are not plus going to plus be plus verb in present participle. Examples: Skinny will not be barking noisily when we arrive. Skinny is not going to be barking noisily when we arrive. He will not be graduating next year. He is not going to be graduating next year. And for the question, we simply follow the pattern: will plus subject plus be plus verb in present participle. We only exchange the positions of the subject and will. Examples: Skinny will be barking noisily when we arrive. Will Skinny be barking noisily when we arrive? He will be graduating next year. Will he be graduating next year? For the be going to pattern, we simply follow am, is, or are plus subject plus going to plus be plus verb in present participle. Examples: Skinny is going to be barking noisily when we arrive. Is Skinny going to be barking noisily when we arrive? He is going to be graduating next year. Is he going to be graduating next year? For our exercise, make sentences in future progressive tense. The first one: Layla jumped with joy when she sees her present. The correct positive statement should be: Layla will be jumping with joy when she sees her present. The correct negative sentence is: Layla will not be jumping with joy when she sees her present. And the question is: will Layla be jumping with joy when she sees her present? The second one: you take the responsibilities where your parents have a vacation. The correct positive statement is: you will be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having a vacation.
Okay? So let's continue with the rest. They have given the positive one. Okay? If you look at the first example given on the first line, you can try the second one. Okay, who want to try for the negative? For the negative. Only one person? Yes, Bondan there.
You will not be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be not having the education.
Do you agree with her? No. Okay. Yes, sir.
So you will not be taking the responsibilities.
Speak louder. Those in the back that cannot
You
hear.
will not be taking the responsibilities while your parents will not be having a vacation.
Parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. We are learning. At the same time, we are learning with the listening, with the grammar. Okay. So what we are doing is we are trying to copy. It's like theater. You understand? An American lady is speaking behind the camera. We don't see her. So what she said, You just have to listen and repeat. Okay? So people were asking me how to improve our American accent. It's a way that you're going to improve it. You listen, you repeat, like a theater. That's all. And if you have a cell phone and you are listening all the time, you'll see that as time goes on, you'll be having this accent. You'll be able to listen to Americans. Okay? Yes, sir.
I would like to bring something to the notice of everyone. Here in the board, I can see that expressing the future progressive tense in the negative form is like the very first sentence we have not, and not the last one. So it's like this sentence we have in the positive future progressive tense. If we have to put it to the future progressive tense in the negative form, we wouldn't say you will not be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having a vacation. I don't know if you get me.
I get you. I get you. They are asking us to use the negative aspect for both verbs. You see, we have take into brackets there, have also into brackets.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to apply
Okay.
to both aspects. Anyway, we're going to see the answer, so don't worry. And now let's jump to the question side. Okay? Someone in the back there should try for the question. In the back. My people in the back, you are not active. Yes, one. Yeah, come on.
You'll be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having the vacations.
Okay. Okay. So what my man said is coming in now. Okay. Good. Someone want to say something else? Yeah, he said it. You hear what he said? You agree with him? No? Yes? You want to say something else?
I would like him to repeat his.
Sir, can you repeat, please? He couldn't get you. He would like you to repeat, please.
Will you be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having the vacations?
The responsibilities, not responsible. Yes, we don't have our insight. Okay, so try to imitate. Okay, while your parents will be having a vacation. Okay, good. So that's what he said. Do you find something to say against it? It's okay. Okay. Let's proceed because we have critical thinking.
The negative sentence says, you will not be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having a vacation. And the question is, will you be taking the responsibilities while your parents will be having a vacation? The next one, Martin make decisions for this group. Make is the verb. The correct positive statement is, Martin is going to be making decisions for this group. The negative sentence is, Martin is not going to be making decisions for this group. And the
Yes, you want to try? Yes, Modal.
Is Martin going to be making decision for this group?
For this group, the tonation at the end show that we have question mark. If there's no tonation, we should not know if it is positive or question mark questions. Okay, good. Let's proceed.
The question is Martin going to be making decisions for this group? The fourth one, they have a grand summer party. The correct positive statement is, they will be having a grand summer party.
Okay. Yes, the man looking at me straight in my face. Sir, Yes, you. No. It's in the back there. He knows. Yes, come on, try. Okay, they will not be having. Okay, you just have to introduce the not. Okay, good. Okay, let's jump to. Yes,
Is it possible for us to use contraction?
contraction.
They won't.
They won't. Yes, they won't. Grammatically, it's not wrong. Okay, if you contract, they will not become won't. Good. Yes, you want to ask a question?
Yes.
Come on.
I want to know how to use will be going to the sentence.
How to use?
When to use will.
This one you have to go back to the video because the context were given at the beginning before they gave you the information. I want to show you something with the critical thinking. Okay, so you should go back on the video and listen to it again. You see that they have already given you the topic, the context before they give you the content. What exactly to use? Okay.
The negative statement is, they will not be having a grand summer party. And the question is, will they be having a grand summer party? The last one, we stay at the hotel until next week. The verb is stay. The correct positive statement is, we will be staying at the hotel until next week. The negative statement is, we will not be staying at the hotel until next week. And the question is, will we be staying at the hotel until next week? Did you get it right?
No, we are not going to try. It's okay. So, I encourage you to go back to the platform and try to listen to it again. Okay?
Future progressive. There are 12.
Okay. Let's see this one. This is for listening comprehension. This takes about 6 minutes. The timekeeper is not here. We are getting to 6. Okay. So listen very well. It's just to work your way of listening. Okay? It's old American English that we are going to listen to. I think it's going to take 9:49. Okay, it's too much. We are not going to end. Okay? We're going to stop in the middle and we have the rest for critical thinking. Okay? Listen to the English.
Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. But I loved the old man. He had never wronged me, he had never given me insult. But once conceived, it haunted me day and night. He would have been a very profound old man indeed to suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I moved. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. To think that there I was. Would a madman have been so wise as this? I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle. The old man's terror must have been extreme. There was nothing to wash out, no stain.
Okay. Good. We are not going to see all the movies. It's becoming interesting, but it's, we are not here to watch movies. I just want to make sure you hear something. Okay? Good. One word, two words, the whole sentence. Is there anything that you understand you want to explain? The guy was talking too slowly, so I think you could be able to hear what he was saying. Anyway, if we have more time, this time I will play it again. But the sound too low. Oh, of my equipment is too low. Wow. Or maybe I was closer. It's wow. Okay. Is there anyone who hears something I want to tell us? A word inside the audio? You heard something?
I wasn't very careful about why the video was going on, but one sentence I can remember is that the actual said something very interesting. One person has never had this.
Okay.
Has never done anything wrong to him.
Okay.
What I got.
Yeah, good. Thank you. You heard one sentence. That's interesting. When you listen, you can hear one sentence, one word, two words. Yes, what do you hear?
Like him, I hear that he said he never insulted him.
Yes.
He never answered me. See? So people hear something here. Don't say so. Okay.
I kept quiet and silent.
I kept quiet and silent. It was something that we could hear. Okay? Someone you say something?
It seems here, but madmen.
Madmen. Yeah? Okay, type of madmen inside. Yes. What do you hear?
I say no answers, but he hate him.
Yeah, hate. Okay, the way you say the hate, any African can hear it. Okay, yes, Wanda, you want to say something else?
He also said they are like night and day.
Night and day.
Like
okay, you see, so many words could be heard. Okay, so you have to pay attention. That's the only thing to be able to understand people speaking from Native American English. You have to pay attention to any single word. You wet your ears. Okay, good. So give me 2 minutes. Let me give you one thing of the critical thinking, the listening. Okay, timekeeper said it's time.
Please, I want to know if we have this movie on the classroom.
Yes, on the platform.
So we can continue that.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I want all my students to be on the platform. So that even after here, you can go back and select all the YouTube and try to listen to them. Okay. Timekeeper, give me 1 minute. Critical thinking. Okay, let's try this one.
People from any two cultures should be able to make the same observations about someone's behavior or clothing, but their interpretations of them could be very different. This is because they attach different cultural meanings to what they observe. Cultural meaning is symbolic. We do not see events and objects just for what they are. We attach symbolic meaning to it. For example, instead of simply seeing clothing of a particular color and style, we can interpret it to indicate that a person is a policeman or a baker. These professionals' uniforms have symbolic meaning to all who know how to interpret them. Gestures and actions take on symbolic meaning when interpreted through a cultural lens. Greetings, for example, vary widely from culture to culture. How should you greet a particular person? Do you shake hands, wave, give a kiss on the cheek? Is a hug appropriate? Do you bow? The rules vary widely around the world. Interculturally competent people will adjust their behavior according to the context. Cultures in Latin America, the Middle East.
Okay, good, it's done. Timekeeper, I have to, let's see, respect the time because people have to go back to work.
Yes.
Okay? So I think, oh, sorry, I have something for you people. Those who did the assignment, thank you very much. For others, see the PIC, yes. We can have the list, and have the list of the class, the list. Okay, give it to them.